We did the same thing for you, Mr. Steve.
Y'all are gonna have to bear with me because I don't know how she made it do that without being emotional.
You can do it!
Anyway, my name is Allison, and I have been with my LEO for 4.5 years. We were supposed to get married today, but COVID-19 had other plans. So here I am with him being on a full-time SWAT team for basically our entire relationship. I can say we've been through some pretty intense moments, and I've been awake when he's gotten home from some pretty serious call-outs. I have to admit, though, that nothing has disturbed or shaken me more than the last month of current affairs has. And I don't know if it's because social media and news outlets are so relentless with their ruthlessness and one-sided narratives, or if it's because 4.5 years in, I'm more invested after hearing all of the stories, good and bad. And maybe it's the love for my officer and the pride I have in him and all of the others that has grown that much deeper. It honestly is probably a combination of all of it. I've got to say that what I've seen over the last few weeks, when we talk about what is happening in the city of Atlanta, when we talk about what's going on across the nation, it's frustrating, it's concerning, and it makes me angry. Now, I want to say that I know the word angry is a strong word, and by definition, it means having a strong feeling of annoyance, displeasure, or hostility. So I wanted to make sure I addressed that when I'm talking to you now, I'm not coming from a place of hostility, but of that displeasure and that annoyance that is just so deep in me at the moment. That said, I'm frustrated because I wish I could open everyone's eyes and make them see how much care is in the hearts of the majority of these officers. I'm frustrated that some people think that just because of the uniform our men and women in blue put on, their lives don't matter as much because, well, they chose that life, so that's on them. I'm frustrated that they can't see the humans that us wives and girlfriends see when they walk through that door at the end of a long shift or hear the quiet whispers when an officer within our ranks is hurt. And I think I speak for all of us when I say that no one hates a bad cop more than a good cop's wife. And I mean no one. Because every time one of those few make a mistake, we know it's taken out on the many who have done no wrong. I'm concerned because at times it seems the media is winning. And it seems the political leaders, city council members, and the people on their high heels are forgetting how to stand up for what's right, especially when it isn't easy. And yet they tell our men and women to do it day in and day out, and then have the nerve to tell them how to do it. But most of them can't even say they've ever been on even just a ride along. I'm concerned for all of our families because I know what we're going through isn't easy. It isn't easy to carry on with business as usual in your household when you realize that as if your LEO's job wasn't hard enough already, it's just gotten a lot harder. I'm angry at the thought of our men and women down on riot lines being taunted, screamed at, and assaulted. Angry that across the nation, in the last month alone, more than 800 families have gotten a phone call either saying that their loved one had been injured or worse yet, isn't coming home. I've gotten one of those phone calls recently, and let me tell you, it's not very fun, but I happen to be one of the lucky ones whose LEO did come home and is doing well. It angers me that I barely see mention of them in the news or across social media. I'm angry that police spouses and their kids have to worry about their homes being vandalized or think twice about who makes deliveries to their home when a take-home car is parked in the driveway. As if just worrying about your on-duty LEO wasn't hard enough already. And most of all, I'm angry because as a woman standing behind a police officer, I know that I can't say anything in his defense. I can't protect him from hate, let alone post anything among people who I thought were friends without it being taken out of context or without wondering if it'll make me or my family a target. which is insane to me because I wasn't raised that way. I was raised to stand up for what's right, no matter what you got for it. But I'll tell you what, it also makes me hopeful and it makes me excited. It's because it's gotten something fired up in me that encourages me to be part of the solution. My fellow police wives, I'm excited because I now see that we are the key. Though I've seen so much madness, toxic rhetoric, and hate, I've started seeing so much more love, strength, thoughtfulness, and a whole lot of good old-fashioned moxie among all of you. We can start at home. That's what made me realize we're a big part of the solution here. Because it starts at home by keeping our officers built up, encouraged, and strong.
Amen.
And when we need a little extra love ourselves, we can build up each other. Because ladies, I have to admit that when I started this relationship, I didn't know what I was getting into. And I didn't know how much I would need all of you until this last month. Because, I mean, let's face it, it's all fun and it's all butterflies when they put on that uniform and they look sharp and badass and can conquer the world. But when those uniforms come off and all we've got left are the heavy hearts and tired eyes, it takes something fierce inside of each and every one of you to put everything back together and get them ready for the next one. Lastly, I'm hopeful because I know that every great thing starts out a little scary. And sometimes it takes a huge breakdown to see something rebuilt bigger and better. I'm also hopeful because I feel the silent majority, the ones who quietly support our men and women in blue, are not going to be silent anymore. They're realizing that they're going to have to stand up for those who can't stand up for themselves because they're too busy fighting for our communities. Those people are going to have to stand with us, the families. And to the men and women in blue who go out every day, and red, I know there's some firemen out here too. You go out every day and continue to do your jobs in spite of these difficult times, with kindness in your hearts, dedication to your communities, and the true grit within you to keep standing up for what's right. Know that we stand with you. Don't listen to those playing Monday morning quarterback who think they know how to do your job better than you, because they don't. Don't listen to these foolish keyboard warriors who don't possess an ounce of the courage that you do. You keep your heads held high. You remember that you are loved, you are respected, and what you do is so important and appreciated. And don't you ever give up. I can say now that I know what I've signed up for, and I wouldn't change it for the world. I mean it when I say that I appreciate the journey that I'm on with this family of LEOs, their spouses, and our communities. In closing, there's a quote going around. I can't take credit for it. I saw it somewhere. But it's really stuck with me the last few days as my family's been going through what we have. Something that goes along the lines of, be bold and mighty forces shall come to your aid. And I know it might have taken us some time and it might take us a little bit more, but I hope you better believe that we're coming. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Steve Gaynor.
Great
I am the
job,
president of Fraternal Order of Police, Cobb County Lodge, with almost 1,000 members. And I would like to say thank you to all of you that have come out here today to show your support to the men and women who put on the uniform and serve this county and this country every day. It's outstanding to see this kind of show, to just show them that you care. I'm going to talk a little bit about the issues that we see nowadays, the present climate that our LEOs are facing. Public safety has never seen this before. Even our EMS and firemen are being attacked. Everybody loves a fireman in EMS, but yet they're being attacked. So they're going out there on duty, off duty, and they're being assaulted. Take-home cars, as they touched upon a minute ago. You can't have a take-home car anymore because you're a target if it parks in your driveway, if you don't hide that car around the back of the house or in your garage. You can't be in uniform anymore coming and going from work because you again become a target. That wasn't the way it used to be. People had respect for law enforcement. They saw that uniform and they knew that person was there to protect them, not to hurt them, not to have some racism, but to protect them. And we need to get back to that. We don't need to be having to travel different routes to go home because you're scared somebody's going to follow you to your house because you're in a marked car or they saw you in uniform. We don't need that anymore. We don't need our families being watchful and having to watch their six, because now a family is a target. Not only is the LEO the target, but the family becomes the target. We don't need that anymore either. And we certainly don't need restaurants telling us that they no longer service LEOs or firemen or EMS. If that business does not want our business, then we don't need to go there. And if they're going to issue that kind of statement, then that's pretty clear where their CEOs stand. And I'm sorry, but some of the ones that have stood by law enforcement for years and years seem to have gone radical on us. And it's a sorry time in this world. You know, as we look around the country, we see the chaos that's in Atlanta, in Seattle, New York City, Washington, D.C., and Minneapolis. Minneapolis looks like a war zone. If you saw pictures from there, you'd think you were in the Middle East, not the United States of America. It's terrible. The lack of support and backing by our elected officials is terrible, and it needs to come back in line where it needs to be and protect those that protect the citizens that elected them to office. We can no longer have this excessive use of force on everything we do. You know, in Minneapolis, they took away and Seattle particularly, they took away the less lethal capabilities